a silent scream. Heartbeat loud in the in-between. World asleep but my mind won't rest. Standing right on tomorrow's edge. Numbers fall and the candles shake. Every risk is a step I take. No applause and no safety net. Just a promise I haven't met. I've been down where the doubt is loud. I've been lost in the digital crowd. But the signal cuts through the noise and it pulls me now. I'm standing on tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. No guarantees, but I'm on my way. If I fall, I rise. That's the game I play. Tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. Late night glow from a silent screen. Heartbeat loud in the in-between. World asleep but my mind won't rest. Standing right on tomorrow's edge. Numbers fall and the candles shake. Every risk is a step I take. No applause and no safety net. Just a promise I have. I've been down with it loud. I've been lost in a digital crowd. But the signal cuts through the noise and it pulls me now. I'm standing on tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. No guarantee, but I'm on my way. If I fall, I rise. That's the game I play. Tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway.
All right, legends, let's get this party on the road. I wish this was an entertainment channel. I think I would have way more people watching here, the live stream. You know, have some banging music, drink a couple of beers, be on the beach. I think if this was an entertainment channel, you know, there will be 1 million subs already. But anyways, guys, I'm trying to make it as fun as possible. My brother's producing the music. And if you have not noticed, even the song that played during the intro also speaks about trading. If you haven't listened to the words, Living on Tomorrow's Edge, it's the name of the song. Anyways, guys, let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. Remember to smash up that like button on your way in. I see some people are saying it's raining where they are at the moment. It's cozy listening to me. Guys, you know, trading is not entertainment, I suppose, okay? It's serious. I mean, you know, you're trading with your own cash. You have to expose yourself to risk, okay? Hopefully, you know, keep your profit consistent, your portfolio consistent and profitable. Right, but I appreciate every single one of you. I really do. I mean, during these tough times, we all know there's no retail in the market. So for every single person watching this live stream right now, thank you so much for still supporting myself, Andy, Matt, okay, the Three Musketeers. And you are the diehard fans, and you are most probably the people that's going to reap the benefits and the profits when things starts turning around again. Okay, so guys, let's dive into the technical analysis. I am here on the daily time frame. The one thing, obvious thing that I want to point out over here, and I will, as always, format of the stream is I will go through some comments during the last bit of the live stream so that people rewatching this can get the alpha first. And if they don't want to watch the comments, but I highly recommend that if you're watching this live stream after I've gone live, I highly recommend that you stick around for the comments, because that's where people ask juicy questions from an education perspective. So if you have some good questions or any question that you would like to ask me, keep it for a little bit later. Okay, but I appreciate all the comments coming in, keeping the community, the comments section active. So the first thing I want to point out over here is, we got a nice little SFP here on the daily level. And the reason I'm pointing out this daily level is because we've been waiting for this daily level. It feels like since last year. No, this whole week. Okay, we've been waiting for this daily level. Okay, and finally, with some patience, long last, we tap the daily level, and guess what? We're left a wick behind. So for now, this looks great, and that's why I also put in the thumbnail, is this the low that's going to send it a little bit here to the upside? Guys, nothing's ever guaranteed to do that, but it has the potential to do that. Okay, we have some obvious resistance areas. Okay, also I highlighted this trade yesterday in the community. And it's not about highlighting a signal, guys. Please, there's a disclaimer. Okay, I am not going to spoon feed people into this is where you take the long, this is where you put your stop loss, this is where you need to take profits. I'm highlighting these trades from an education perspective. This is why I am entering, this is where I am entering, this is how I'm managing my risk, this is where I am taking profits, etc. Okay, so that you can learn to do this by yourself. Right, so for now, on the daily time frame, guys, and the daily time frame is most probably one of the most important time frames, because if we closed a daily candle below, so if this body of this candle closed below, that would have been a bearish sign for me, and scream maybe continuation to the downside. But we left a week behind on the daily time frame. And remember, the higher the time frame, the better the confirmation. Nothing's ever guaranteed in the market, but we are confirmation traders. We want to trade probabilities. Okay, so yesterday I highlighted to the community that, I got in here at the low or at the daily level. Price got a little bit choppy, but I was getting ready for bed. I think I took the small trade here on BTCC. Well, it's not really a small trade compared to the account size that I have here on BTCC. So, I try and apply the same risk management rules depending on the account size that I trade within the exchange. Sometimes with the smaller accounts, okay, my smaller accounts at least, I will go in a little bit heavy, because I still keep in mind my overall portfolio size. So I can, for example, enter 10% of my capital or take 10% risk on a smaller portfolio, because my bigger portfolio can absorb that risk. And then it still gives me 1% of my overall trading capital. So sometimes my rules vary depending on which account I'm trading on. Anyways, but I still went in with great risk management. Okay, and yesterday when I highlighted this trade inside of the community, okay, I played the SFP from the daily level. Okay, let's go back here onto the 15-minute time frame. So let me explain to you from an education perspective, because I know a lot of community members are on the stream right now as well. And I got some questions this morning in the community as well, as to say that, Dewald, you played the SFP, how did you stay in the trade? Okay, why did you? Because everyone knows my trading style by now. When I'm in front of the chart, like this short, when I'm in front of the chart, I can have many attempts and manage my risk to catch the high or the low. When I'm not in front of the chart, okay, I will use less capital, but I'm still looking for price to turn around in that zone. So for example, what I could have done, guys, there's many ways in which you can trade this. Okay, and depending on whether I'm paying attention and in front of the chart, or I have to go to bed, I still want to take advantage of the trade, or I'm at gym, I'm doing something else, I will change my strategy and my rules. Okay, so what I could have done here is to say that, well, there's a high probability that price is going to make a lower high in the zone. So I could have said, maybe with limit orders, guys, and it's like 99% of my trades are market executed. But sometimes I will use limit orders still with great risk management, so that if I get stopped out, I still only lose what I wanted to lose during this trade. 1, 2, 3%. So you could build a position to say enter, 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 and maybe you have a final little limit order here just before your stop loss gets hit. The reason I don't like to talk about these trades is because people go too aggressive. That's the reason I don't like to talk about it. But if you can still manage your 1 to 3% loss, even with limit orders with a clear invalidation, it is a successful way of trading. You just have to manage your position size. Okay, because this can be 0.5, 0.5, 1%. Remember, the higher the price goes, for me, it's always a great idea to get more aggressive the closer price gets to your invalidation. Yes, I think the reason people struggle with this is because they want to go in hard and price needs to turn around. Okay, you could build a position in this zone and then price did fall down. Okay, price did fall down, so it was a successful trade. SL did not get hit. You could have built a position here, and maybe you were only in 0.5% or 1.5% into the trade, and now you're like, oh man, I wish it hit this level, because then I would have made so much money to the downside. I actually had an interesting conversation yesterday in the community about goals. Okay. But anyways, guys, if you want to be part of the community and not miss out on any alpha, you know where to find the link. You should be by now know where to find the link to join the community for free. DM me the word access. Only this word. Okay, I get sentences inside of my Telegram account. People, access, Dewald, I would love, no, just DM me the word access, and if you want to say something else, just maybe do it after that. Okay, DM me the word access, here's my Telegram, and you'll just have to follow some instructions. One of the requirements is you need to have signed up with one of my links, and then I will give you free access to the community. Okay, that's where myself and Andy and the coaches spend most of our time. Right, legends, so that's one way to trade, okay? You could have traded it like that. And that's basically the same approach that I followed last night. I said, guys, and I've been saying this, we are still inside the same structure. We've been talking about this structure now for the same week, okay? And when price starts moving, we'll have a different structure to talk about. And it's usually, guys, it's about rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over again. This does look impulsive. This looks very corrective, very overlappy, it's overlapping structures. It does not look impulsive to the downside. Therefore, it has a higher probability to be corrective for the impulse. Therefore, having a higher probability to form a higher low and continuation to the upside, maybe to come and claim the high, who knows? There's definitely profit-taking areas to the upside. Okay, and I'll go through the 1 hour time frame in a moment. So, last night, okay, let me explain this. I saw this. Okay, let's zoom in here onto the 15-minute time frame. Okay, I saw that. And I got in. And I posted it inside of the community. Guys, just got in here. Okay, and but it was late for me. So now there's two things going through my mind. Okay, if I get stopped out, it gets acceptance back above. That's my approach that I follow. I will re-enter. Okay. But I was tired. I needed to go to bed because I wake up very early in the morning. So if I don't go to bed by a certain time, I walk around like a zombie the next day. So sleep for me is more important than trying to nail the low over here. Okay. So what I did is I followed Andy's approach, which is the approach that I've just explained now, is to say that, okay, I know that there's a good chance price is going to bounce in the zone. So there's another way I can trade this. If I just apply still great risk management. And it was this way. Okay, I highlighted this inside of the community and said, well, guys, okay, I know that there's a high chance, because I trade probabilities, that price could get a bounce in the zone without taking the low. So I'm going to put my stop loss here and go to bed. And this is why I did not get stopped out of the trade, because I had a bigger stop loss, and this for me was a 1.9% risk according to my portfolio. And I posted that in the community as well. 1.9% risk. Okay, now I'm in the trade, and if I get stopped out, well, you know, it's the small little stop loss. I already took profits here when price hit this level. That's just what I do, guys. When price hit resistance, yeah, I was like, okay, now I'm going to start taking profits to cover my stop loss. So although I have a stop loss, okay, let's see, that stop loss is $210. The profits that I've taken already covers the stop loss, so that if I get stopped out, I lose nothing. So this is a free trade for me at the moment. Very important. And I'm sure a lot of the community members took this trade as well. Just guys, remember to manage risk, protect position. If you have to, take some off the table, pay yourself, so that it doesn't turn into a losing trade, because we can't predict where price is going to go next. We trade probabilities and we manage our trade. Right. Okay, cool. So that's basically what happened yesterday. So we got into the trade, and I have now de-risked my position, because that's how I like to manage my trade. Okay. You might be saying, okay, I am still going to leave my stop loss here, and if price does this, I'm still in the trade. Because I'm awake and I'm in front of the chart, I don't mind getting stopped out and looking for a new long. If I'm not in front of the chart, so maybe after the live stream I go to gym, I can decide to move my stop loss again and maybe add a small little limit order. So do you guys see, this is exactly how I'm going to take this trade. I can change my mind and just manage my trade depending on what I'm doing during the day. And also depending on, did I take profits? Is my fees covered? And if I put a limit order here and price goes against me, am I now going to lose more than 2 or 3% that I wanted to lose? So it's about just, you know, planning the trade, planning your day. What are you doing? Are you in front of the chart? Whatever the case might be. So I cannot come here onto the live stream and tell everyone this is exactly how you need to trade it. No. Okay. I also changed my mind. I also could decide for whatever reason, okay, I'm taking everything, I'm closing my position. I will let the community know my reasons for doing that if I am in front of the chart, in front of the computer, okay? But for now, I'm letting the trade play out. Okay, I have de-risked my position, and I really do not mind, okay, getting stopped out and looking for a new long. If this had to play out, rejection from the trend, maybe it pierces through and it continues, happy days. I'm already in the trade. Okay, and I can tell you now, if price breaks out here successfully, that is where I de-risk and move my stop loss even to a little bit higher. Okay, I'll see how I manage this as price develops. Right, oops, deleted my folder by mistake. So there's a couple of ways in which you can trade it. It's not to say that I'm trading it a specific way, that is the rule. Okay, guys, you need to have your own trading rules. You need to build your own system. You need to manage your own trades. I will keep the community up to date as best as I possibly can, but it's still up to you to make those trading decisions. It's up to you to manage your risk. Okay, because I do see I get a lot of questions from people like, Dewald, why didn't you do this because you did that before? Because I can change my mind. Okay. Right, I hope that makes sense, guys. You know, I hope that makes sense. Right, so now we need to analyze the structure. Okay, for now, we got the bounce at the daily level. We still have a higher low, and there's a chance we could break and continue momentum here to the upside. That is basically the analysis in a nutshell. Okay, but now I just want to go back to the 1 hour time frame to see, well, what could still happen here? Okay, because there is a scenario where price forms a lower high and falls down, and that is why it's for me so important to take profits to the upside like I did here. Okay, the reason I keep on showing this trade is to say that, well, It's not to say that I'm in a short and I'm in a long and I'm just hoping for price to go in a direction so that I can start making money. No, I've already taken profits. I'm already in profit. It doesn't matter which one gets stopped out, or even if both get stopped out, I'm already in profits. That's the most important thing for me as a technical trader, is to pay yourself. Okay, so if price wants to continue and stop me out from the short, then I will still make more money from the long and get stopped out with that profit, and vice versa. If price falls down, I will get stopped out with that profit and continue to make profits from the short. Okay, because nothing's ever guaranteed. Okay guys, the low is in, baby, let's rock and roll. Okay, some people FOMO in. Oh crap, I lost, I missed the long. Okay, I'm gonna enter here, and then price does this. No guys, you need to have a plan. You need to stick to your plan. Okay, stick to your plan. Do you have a plan? And if you do have a plan, stick to your plan. And if your plan is not working, change your plan. I don't know how else to say it. Do you have a plan? And the plan must be, why are you entering? Where is your stop loss? And where do you plan to take profits? And how are you going to manage your risk and your trade during this whole thing? Okay, the 3 W's. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of scenarios quickly here on the 1 hour time frame. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to make sure that I have all my daily levels marked out, because I know I didn't do that this morning. Okay, that one got tapped. This one's still clean. This one actually now got tapped. I'm just going to leave it there until tomorrow, and then I'll delete it because price could come back for a retest and then continue. So I just want to keep the daily level there. But no fresh daily levels over here. That's basically what we have. I just want to go to the 1 hour time frame and see, well, did we form some naked point of controls? Let's see. Because the only 2 I have is, or the only one is here. So that's interesting. We actually got the rejection this morning. Can you see where we got this rejection from this point of control? Okay, so that was actually an interesting shorting opportunity. Anyways, I missed it. I'm already in a short from higher up, so not too bad. But this could have been a nice little hedge, again, a nice little hedge short against my long. So if price falls down, okay, then I'm still making money from the move down, and I can maybe look for a new long here to the downside. Okay, so there's no new point of controls. That's basically what it comes down to. Remember to smash up that like button for the education, for the alpha here on the live stream. If you do enjoy the content, subscribe. Okay, this is where we teach pure technical analysis. No bias, guys. No rug pulls on this stream. Okay, I'm not going to come and promote a token and then next week people post comments in the live stream, the thing went to 0. Okay, or you let us all buy into the thing and now it's, you know, 50% down. I've seen channels do that. It does not happen here. Okay, this is where I do pure technical analysis, and based on technicals we determine probabilities. Okay, now 1 hour time frame. I want to look at this structure. Let's clean up the chart. Okay, let's just look at this little structure here to the downside. I think there's a couple of things that could play out over here. Most obvious is, guys, and I'm just going to draw this out. Okay, you have formed a wave A. Okay, wave A wavy, and this is your B wavy. Okay, or maybe your B is over here. Okay, let's just start with this one. You have a A, you have a B, and now you're going to form a C here to the upside. I know Andy also spoke about this scenario, but definitely from an Elliott Wave perspective, this is something that could happen. Inside of the C wave, you need 5 waves. And this low needs to be protected. So price could now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you want to see. You want to see a 5 wave impulse to the upside, where this becomes a very interesting shorting zone, because after an ABC, because it's corrective, price could fall and claim the low. Now you can also see why I'm so interested in longs, because I know there's an opportunity to play this. It's a nice little opportunity. Okay, The most interesting level for a rejection, if the scenario had to play out, let's just do it a little bit more pretty, guys. Let's do it, you know, devil, be a little bit more professional. Come on. Okay, a B, and a C. Okay, and now I can even take it a step further to say that, okay, guys, let's plan this properly if the scenario had to play out. A, B, and let's work out the targets, the most common targets, if we do get a nice little explosion here to the upside. Okay, impulse targets, let's do, oh, no, not that one, normal, let's just put it on normal. Okay, most commonly, okay, the C wave can go as high as $85,000, but if it's a C wave and not a wave 3, and I'll explain what I mean by a wave 3, it can reject at the 1-to-1 extension. Very common. The 1-to-1 extension is very common. These two targets are a little bit more rare. So let's just stick to the most common target. It's either going to be the 1 or it's going to be the 1.618. Like anywhere in this zone is where it can reject, but let's stick to the 1 for now. Okay, 1-to-1 extension at $77,000, 751. Let's see if we have some other areas of confluence. So from the high to the low, from a Fibonacci perspective, we do have a 786 that aligns perfectly. Okay, let's talk about these levels. So at the 1-to-1 extension, you really want to see the rejection take place over here so that price has a higher chance to take the low from a shorting perspective. Because if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, remember wave 4 here is not allowed to claim the 0.618. So if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you really wanted to reject in this zone before it claims the 0.618 to have a higher chance and probability that price can still take the low. It can still reject in this zone. Definitely it can still reject in this zone, but then the probabilities does not look great to take out the low again, because this is where price can retrace, form a higher low and continue. Because now you're invalidating this little fifth wave here to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you get the relief. Okay, if you claim the 0.618, this could be done over here, and then maybe you're forming something else. But I don't want to create confusion right now. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, that 786 does look very interesting. Now, the 1-to-1 extension is a common target. It's a common target. But C waves can reject at the 786, even the 618. The minimum requirement would be for at least the C wave to take the high of A, which is here, okay, in the zone. Right, but I told everyone I am very interested in this area for potential short. Because this could also be a W, X, A, B, C, and it rejects at the 786. I've seen this before, and I'm sure you have seen this before as well. Okay, if this turns out to be, okay, also still same three-wave structure, whether this is an A, B, C can extend a little bit higher, and they tend to extend a little bit higher, but it's a three-wave structure. If it's a W, X, Y, now this is where it becomes interesting. If this is a W, and this is a X, and it's going to A, B, C here to the upside. I have seen this movie before, not so long ago. I've seen that movie where you basically complete your Y. You guys remember this? Okay. W, X, Y. Where did you... Okay, just to paint it out, you have your W, you had your X in a triangle, and you had your A, B, C. Where did it reject? At the 786. So now you guys can see I'm doing technical analysis based on things that's happened many times before. I'm not sucking out these levels because I'm like, oh, there's nice confluence. I've seen this movie before. Okay, it can happen. It can happen. Right, now, let's get back to this little structure over here. So, and we're now banking on the fact that, or assuming the fact that this low maintains and we get a little bit of upwards momentum. Whether it's an ABC, whether it's just a C wave to the upside, okay, I will keep the community up to date with how this happens, where I'm planning to take a short. If I do jump into a short here at these levels, okay, because you might not get here, guys. You don't have to get here. You can reject here. That's the minimum target for a Y wave. It's the minimum target. But it's a very interesting zone to look for shorts. Also a very interesting zone to take profits if you are in any longs, because this can form a 3-wave up and then fall here to the downside. Remember, if you want to be part of the community, DM me the word access in Telegram. Link down in the description. Free access for 2 months. Okay, let me just get closer here. How do you get those fixed volume range on daily? Right, I will go through some, guys, I will go through some comments in a moment when I'm done with the technical analysis. If you don't get stopped out, would you plan on adding to the position? Yes, on a sign of strength to maximize profits, I will definitely, if I'm in front of the chart, I will definitely do that. But anyways, guys, let me finish the technical analysis. And so basically, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to show you here on the 1 hour time frame, if price continues to the upside, this is a very interesting shorting zone. Whether it's an ABC or whether it's a WXY or WXY, maybe this is your ABC. Okay, it's a very interesting shorting zone. Also a very interesting level for me to start taking more profits from my long. What I will do with my long, I will leave 10% open this long. Okay, I will take 50% if price continues here to the upside with this long that I'm in. If price continues to the upside, that zone that I've told you about, I will most probably take another 50% profits. Well, I will take enough profits and leave 10% of the position to run, because I know that there's an insane bullish case scenario as well. So I'll leave the runner for that. Okay. The insane bullish case scenario is that this turns into, let me just clean this up. Let me leave this FIP level in here. Most bullish case scenario, the low is in, and this is a 1. This is a 2. This is another 1, and this is another 2. Double 1, 2. This is the guys, I'm now talking about the most bullish case scenario, and this is just going to absolutely fly to the upside. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 4, 5. This can get, you can easily come and claim this high. Easy, come and claim this high. So although I'm going to take profits in the zone and I'll be looking for a short in the zone, I will definitely leave a runner, 10%, just to, if this had to happen. Because I know that there's a possibility for this scenario. So I just want to maximize my profits to the upside. Okay, unless I don't click on the wrong button, because the community members know that often happens, and I'm sure it happens to you as well. And I did see some posts inside of the community where people said, damn, I was planning to take 50% profits and I closed the position by mistake. It happens to me as well, where you just click on the wrong button, you close the position, you're like, ah. Okay, so hopefully I won't make mistakes. Okay, right. Okay, that is the most insane bullish case scenario. We're either looking at a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we fly. 4, 5, 4, 5. That is where I'll be looking for a short. This structure needs to repeat here at the top from a trading perspective. Okay, the retracement becomes very interesting for long to join the next move to the upside. So shorts, longs, and you guys can see as the structure develops, I'll have new trading opportunities. Okay, or this is A, B, C. Maybe it taps the 1-to-1, maybe it rejects in this zone, or it's a WXY. But very interesting shorting zone. So I will be looking for shorts here. Also be taking profits from my longs. Okay, because this rejection could claim the low. If price goes higher here, okay, the bears are starting to lose control. Yes, you could still, on the higher time frame, there is scenarios that support still taking the low, but it's not great to form still another 5th wave here to the downside. Maybe it's a B. Okay, it could also be a B, but I don't want to overcomplicate it right now. Once price gets here, I will be live and I will explain the probabilities, but I don't want to explain the probabilities now for if price gets here and just create confusion. So from a simplicity perspective, this is a very interesting shorting zone. If price continues, okay, then I want to see a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Once I see this structure, that becomes interesting for a short. Okay, so let's see how this unfolds. Obviously, I need to talk about the bearish case scenario. Without going into Elliott Wave theory, guys, because I have not counted the waves here to the downside yet. I'm just looking at high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Okay, so the local trend is still down and you're still making lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. And as long as you see this, okay, there's a chance that you could continue. You either bounce and then you break out or you fall. And that's the bearish case scenario that I spoke about yesterday. This structure, if we do fall to the downside, needs to repeat itself. It doesn't carry the highest probability. And this is why I'm so a little bit reluctant to talk about it, but sometimes they do happen. I will wait for the high volume move and I want to see this repeat. Once I see that, presents a longing opportunity, not as price is falling. No, that's no long for me. Okay, it needs to chop. It needs to fall with an increasing amount of volume, and then volume needs to decrease as it's slowing down. That's where I will look for a new long from a simplicity perspective. Okay, so yes, guys, I have to talk about the bearish case scenario because there's always the chance of, ooh, it's going to hold, it's going to hold, it's going to hold, and then it falls. And we were all waiting for $75,000, $77,000, or at least to come and claim this high and nothing happens. Okay, we just fell here to the downside. Well, now you know. I will make profits from the short that I'm in on Bluffin, and I will look for another long back to the upside. Only once price slows down. 4, 5, 4, because there's a lot of 1-2s in here. If you want to count double, triple 1-2s, quadruple 1-2s in here, you know, you want to see this mess repeat before I will consider a long. So it needs to fall, increasing volume, and I want to see volume decrease. That's what I will look for. If I don't see that, it's going to be difficult to get into the long. Unless you have levels to the downside where you can play swing failure patterns from. Anyways, now, let's get into the structure again. Remember to smash up that like button. Get above and go. Yes, I will go through the comment sections. Crypto, fourth wave up, hasn't broke above 71k yet. Get above, go back to 80k. Fifth wave down, has to drop to 56 or so. Bottom isn't in. There's a few scenarios that could play out. I think we bottom. Yes, I mean the guys, you know, crypto Tony, I'm a day trader. On the higher time frame, I do have analysis, which gives me my plans at lower levels. But I actually don't care which way it goes. I don't care if the low is in or the low is not in. I think sometimes, and I'm not saying you are doing that, I'm just saying to everyone, don't get obsessed about is the low in or not. Don't get obsessed about it. Is the low in? And then, you know, people try and find channels that confirm, yes, the low is in. No, the low is not in. Oh, it could still be, you know, don't get obsessed about it. I'm looking for trading opportunities. I don't care where it goes. I don't care if price still takes the low. I don't care if it goes to 100k from here. I look at the structure, I trade the structure. It's as simple as that. So don't get obsessed about is the low in? Are we still going to make a low in Feb or by the end of this year? Is the bear market still going to continue until October? I don't care. From a day trading perspective, I do not care. I've made a short about that. If you guys do watch the short on the channel, you'll know exactly why I don't care. Okay, the question is, have you made money? Have you made money? That's the question. Is your profitable? Is your portfolio in profits, or are you still taking losses? Or are you still in the camp of, I'm only going to look for longs once we claim the low? What if we don't get there? Okay, I trade the structures inside here. I trade the structures. I played a long, I took profits. I took a short, I took profits. Got stopped. I think I added to my position. Yeah, from this short, I added to my position to drag my entry down. I got stopped out, but with profits. We had the full 5-wave structure. We had the 3-wave up. I entered a short. Came down. I took profits. I took profits to profits, profits. Now I'm in a long. So, you know, just trading the structure. I really don't care where it goes. It's nice if it goes up, because then my investment portfolio goes up. And that's a different hat that you have to wear as a, you know, are you an investor or are you a trader? Because those are different hats, guys. Those are different hats. Okay. Right. Let's go through a couple of scenarios over here. Obviously, the most bullish case scenario I have spoken about. Okay. There is the potential, if I zoom into this structure, guys, I'm trying to keep the analysis as simple as possible today, not to confuse everyone with Elliott Wave theory. Okay. If I take a fib from the high, from the low to the high, there is still a chance that price could do this. And I'll be ready. Okay, I want price to get acceptance back above this low. I want it to do what it's been doing the whole time. Every time it chops the lows, it gets back up. It chops the lows, it gets back up. It could chop the lows again and get back up, as long as this low stays protected. Okay. What needs to happen for the bulls right now? Okay. You need to change local market structure. So the most important thing for the bulls right now is that you need to claim these highs. You need to change local market structure, because you have lower highs and lower lows. So you could still chop, 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 chop until market structure changes. Okay, so for a sign of strength, price needs to really just motor here to the upside, claim the high, change market structure. That also becomes an interesting longing opportunity, because now you have your first higher high. You're changing market structure. Price comes down, higher low. Okay, higher low, higher high. It could continue. You want to see that. You want to see that. So for the patient traders, because I know that institutions trade like this. Institutions wait for market structure to change, and then they'll make a trading decision. Because if you're trading with $1 billion or $100 million, okay, you want confirmation. You're not just going to risk all of that money on a hunch that it could make a higher low over here. You're going to wait for confirmation. You want to see a higher high. And it's the retracement that becomes interesting to join the move to the upside. So if you're not in a long and you've been sitting on the sidelines, and maybe you are a confirmation trader, you have to wait for that. It's the retracement that becomes interesting. And it's also, how does it retrace? Do you see an impulse and you see an overlappy, choppy structure to the downside? Okay, you see an impulse over here and it starts chopping, 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 slow down. It takes long, it's boring. When is it going to bounce? It needs to chop. Okay, if it falls too aggressively, too quickly to the downside, usually it has a higher chance to take the low. So, you know, those are the things that I look for when I see the retracements. Also from a timing perspective, how long did it take the impulse? How long is the correction? Okay, because if it starts falling here deep, you know, myself and Andy did a collab where that happened. Okay, the retracement went too quickly from a time perspective, increasing the probabilities that it's going to take the low. And it did. It took the low. Can't remember exactly where that was, but you guys remember. Okay, I think it was here when we had the fake out. It was here. In our collaboration, I told everyone why I'm not longing. Because from a time perspective, it didn't make sense. And then we fell too fast, increasing the probabilities we're going to take the low. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I watch for if I'm not in a trade and I'm looking for a longing opportunity. Guys, remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Okay, I see the morning streams are not doing as well as Andy's afternoon streams. So, you know, I want to grow the audience here in the morning. I want to get the YouTube algorithm used to having morning streams as well. Because most probably the YouTube algorithm is like, what's happening? It used to be like this time. Now there's more. Now there's more. Okay, so by you smashing up the like button, commenting after the stream, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, so we can get, you know, more people. You know, I would love to be in a position where we have 5,000 people here in the morning streams. Okay, that would be absolutely amazing. I enjoy morning streams. Me too. I also enjoy the morning streams because it sets me up for the day. Okay, what to look for. I think institutions trade the fake outs when everybody sells. It depends on which institutions. Okay, I met, not going to mention names. I don't think I'm allowed to mention the names. I met a company in Dubai when I went there, and they traded with a massive fund. When I saw all those zeros, I couldn't even count those zeros. And they do confirmation trading only. That's it. He told me, I'm not going to risk this money on a SFP. I'm not going to risk this money on a breakout. I will risk this money when I have confirmation. And sometimes with confirmation, they can get in very late, but you have confirmation. Maybe they'll get in there, but they have confirmation. Okay, they don't mind missing the bottoms and the tops. They really don't care. Okay, they want confirmation. They want to see volume increases. They look for sign of strings. They have their own indicators that the in-house development team develops for them. It was quite amazing to see how they run their operations when you trade with so much money. Okay. And I can tell you now, they trade with a lot of money, but they do not manipulate the market. Okay, that's proper whale money that I saw over there. But they don't manipulate the market. They trade just like me and you. They have a strategy, and they analysts follow the strategy. If an analyst loses money, they will only get fired if they didn't follow the rules of the strategy. If an analyst loses $100 million, but he followed every single rule in the strategy, he does not get fired. That's how vicious it is, but it's also a fair process. All you have to do is follow the rules of the strategy. That's it. That's all you have to do. These are the rules. Oh, price did this, tick. Price did this, tick. Price did this, tick. Now I can enter. Not all trades play out, but if you follow the strategy and you stick to the rules and it's been proven to make money, even if you take losses, then it's a strategy worth following, even if you get stopped out and you lose $100 million. Because maybe you made $1 billion profit, okay, over the duration of the month. So that 100 mil is insignificant to in comparison to the profits. It just shows you how important it is to have a strategy and follow it. Okay, it was quite an eye opener for me when I saw that. Right, guys. So if price falls to the downside, you know, there's still that scenario where we still have levels. I'm just keeping it simple here. We still have levels. So if price still chops and chops and chops and chops, okay, interesting level. You still have price consolidation. I want to see if we have a point of control down here somewhere. Yeah, at the 618. Okay, so if price does want to take this low and it keeps on chopping here to the downside, still there's a longing opportunity. You have some confluence, 0.618. The level that I personally like the most is this one. The probability for the harmonic that I've discussed, if this is a your harmonic basically, okay, this leg is getting very long in time. Doesn't look great anymore, but I will still pay attention to these levels because I know from a psychology perspective, once price takes this low, everyone's going to think that this low is next. And what if it bounces? What if it bounces? Okay, so definitely I know that I can trade these levels with great risk management. And if I'm wrong, Okay, I'm not losing. Maybe I'll just get stopped out of break even. Just pay the trading fees. Okay, but if price gets there, I will definitely update the community if I do take a trade. And if you want to be part of the community, like I always say, guys, DM me the word access. That's it. Just that word, access to this link, and you'll get instructions on how to join my community for free. Myself, Andy, we've got some altcoin analysis in there as well, news, fundamentals, and we really have some experienced traders in there as well, especially from an Elliott Wave perspective. Okay. Much simpler than this, it does not get. So we've discussed the most. I just want to make sure that I've discussed everything. Let me just go through my notes over here. Yeah, I mean, I know Andy has been talking about this scenario. I'm just looking at one of his posts now, and here on the higher time frame. Okay, and this is it basically just highlights why it's so important to take profits. Here on the 1 hour time frame, you could have, and I saw Andy spoke about it yesterday as well, you could have an A, a B, a C, a D, a E. And after this, okay, let me switch it on, the lines, because a fourth wave can form a triangle. It doesn't look, I don't like that wave, to be honest with you, because you have to count that wave as a 3-wave structure, and it really looks impulsive. But nonetheless, you can form a triangle. Okay, you do not take the high, and price creates that 5th wave to the downside. And triangles inside of wave 4s are common, and they are allowed. And this is why, for me, from a technical perspective, as price moves here to the upside, it's important to have your profit-taking areas identified. And I shared that last night with the community where I plan to take profits with this long. I'm not just going to wait for that, because that might not happen. I at least want to have some profits in the bag for if the scenario plays out and it falls, then at least I get stopped out with profits. Okay, so yes, I mean, I think this is maybe the only scenario that I haven't spoken about. I know Andy has spoken about the scenario, and the reason the scenario only becomes relevant or interesting now is because we have wave D. And this is usually where it becomes interesting to talk about triangles, is because you have wave D. It's not interesting to talk about a triangle when you have B and C. Not interesting yet, but when you have D, that's where it becomes interesting. Yes, I know the Elliott Wave counters are looking at me right now and saying, yeah, well, but there's no 3 waves. Guys, I'm just saying, this is something that could play out. Sometimes it is what it is. Just keep, just pay attention. It could still do this. So maybe that's your C, and that's your D, and that's your E. But the point being is it's squeezing. It's squeezing. Does not want to take the low. It does not want to take the high. It just continues, continues, continues. And that could be your triangle that just breaks to the downside. Okay, because the issue that I see, and I can't give the scenario the highest probability, it's something that I'm keeping in mind. And the reason I can't give this count the highest probability is because of that. You can count a 3-wave in here. You can count a WXY in there. But this looks very impulsive. I'm struggling to count a 3-wave structure in wave C, unless this is A, B, C. Okay, and C moves up. That makes more sense to me. So the range continues. It's going to get more boring. Price is not going to go anywhere for the next week either. Okay, it's just going to keep on chopping sideways. So technically, this does not look great. But sometimes it is what it is. Triangle. Bam. Okay. Okay, I see Andy actually shared a couple of scenarios this morning already in the community. If you guys want to be inside of the community, just DM me the word access. Okay, follow the instructions. I'm not going to share all of Andy's scenarios, keeping some of the alpha for him as well, And but I've basically gone through everything that I wanted to talk about. So now let's go through some comments. This is my favorite part of the stream, by the way. Okay, so if you have been watching the stream or you're rewatching the stream later, this is where you can jump off. But this is where the real education happens, because people ask very interesting questions. Okay, not access inside of the live chat. You have to DM me the word access using this link down in the description. You DM me the word access. You can copy and paste the word if you, okay, to this link on Telegram, guys, on Telegram. Okay, not inside the chat, because I see people post, even yesterday with yesterday's stream, I saw people posting inside of my YouTube comments the word access. No. You have to use this link, guys. Only the word access to get free access to my community. Okay. Now let's go. Are you a whale? Well, it depends on your definition of a whale, a shark, a sardine. It really depends on your definition. Okay. But no, I don't consider myself a whale. I consider myself a day trader, taking advantage and scratching the dollars from the whales. Okay, my definition, guys, and it could be completely wrong. Maybe I need to open up ChatGPT and maybe ask for a proper definition. Maybe you can do the same thing. My personal definition of a whale is someone that trades with $1 billion. Big institutions, moving a lot of money that can. My definition of a whale is someone that has enough money that can move the market. Like if they had to go in with all of their cash in one entry, it's going to move the market. That's a whale for me. Someone that has the money to move the market. Okay. So no, I don't consider myself a whale, because if I go in with all of my cash, even at, I think at 100x leverage, maybe it's going to do this. Okay. If I enter a position now at 100x leverage with all of my capital, I think it's most probably going to do that. It's going to leave that little wick. Maybe it's going to do, maybe, I don't know. Okay. Dewold Legend, welcome to the live stream, man. Jarud, I see you, man. I see you. Good morning, Dewold, and thanks as usual. Absolute pleasure, man. Indicators already showing bearishness, and market will use news and a reason to dump. But if you have proper indicator, you already know we're gonna dump before any news comes up. Yeah, I like to say the news is always the reason why price dumped. And very often, I already knew about the dump before the news came out. It's very interesting, okay? It's like, yeah, guys, when we were here, in my live streams, I told everyone this is a rejection zone. Okay, I actually, guys, I went through my trading journal. I took a trade here on the 15-minute time frame, and I'm going to explain what happened here. This is very interesting. I looked through my trading journal a couple of days ago. I entered a trade there, a short. I entered a short there. Okay, I took profits. I took profits in this zone, and I wanted, and this, this is one of the mistakes that happened to me, is that I wanted to leave a runner to the downside, and when I took profits here, I accidentally closed my position. It happens, guys. It sucks. It really sucks. Okay, it was still some nice profits at this level, but I accidentally closed my position. So I took an epic short. I knew that there was a high chance for a bigger rejection to the downside. And as always, when you hit support, I take profits. Price consolidates. It looks like it wants to go up. It's going sideways. I took a little bit more profits. And then when I took that little bit more profits, I closed my position. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, it is what it is. And then price fell. So I missed out on all of this because I made a trading mistake over here on the exchange. But anyways, what I wanted to say is this was a very, very interesting short. And I knew that there was a high chance to fall down. 786 WXY. We've went through the structure so many times in the live stream. You all know, if you go and rewatch the live streams that I did over here, you all know that there was a high chance for price to fall down, which it did. So I knew that this was a great rejection zone for price to come and claim the lows again of this range. The lows. WXY. ABC, rejection, looking for a short, got into the short, made a mistake, closed my position. Okay, and then maybe news came out to justify this. But as a technical trader, I knew that there's a high chance for this. High chance for this. I knew it from a technical perspective. And most probably, and this is the thing about news, okay, from a technical perspective, I knew that this was a great area to short. From a news perspective, the dump happened here to the downside, and then the news came out as to why it dumped. But it's very seldom that you're going to get news over here that tells you that this is going to happen. The news is a lagging indicator. People, something happens in the world, an earthquake happens right now, an earthquake happens. Okay, someone has to type up the story, someone has to publish it, it has to go on news. It's a lagging indicator. Okay, for me at least. Good morning, Dewald, and thanks as usual. There we go. It's a good grounding message for me, though. Even experienced traders make mistakes. Yes, guys, I also make mistakes. And I guess the question, or the real question, is how do you minimize your mistakes? Because the less and fewer mistakes you make, the more profitable. Okay, if your mistakes are more than what you get right, you must probably still bleeding out your account. So the game is, how little mistakes can you make, and can you learn from those mistakes, and can you maybe put measures in place to make sure that you don't make those mistakes again? Guys, I was livid. Okay, I was a little bit upset when I closed my position here. Yes, could I have still re-entered the trade? In hindsight, yes. And this is also the lessons that I needed to learn, is to say that, well, dear, well, maybe you could have re-entered, okay, but for me that was such a big stop loss. Because where do I put my stop loss? Okay, I have to put my stop loss above the high. So for me, I don't want to expose my capital to that much risk. I could have, in hindsight, said, okay, maybe just go in light. Go in light. Go in with 0.5, 1% of your capital, because I knew there was a high chance for rejection in this zone. Anyways, but that's also the lesson that I learned in my journal. And when I make a mistake, I write down in my journal what I can do better next time. So some of the lessons that I wrote down here is I should have re-entered with a smaller position, because I knew that there was a much higher chance to fall down than to continue up. So I should have traded the probability even when I accidentally closed my trade. So yes, I also make mistakes, guys. But the good news is I still made profits. That was the good news. I still made profits. I made profits in that zone. So I traded these ranges. As price was falling, I made profits. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember this. I think I was looking for a long. Yeah, I actually got stopped out. This is where I lost the trade. But then I got back in. Okay. I got back in. Played a long. Played a short. Made profits. Made profits. Played a short. Made profits. Okay. Here's my account, guys. I can show you. Made profits. Okay, I'm currently still in the short. I'm still in the long. I already took profits from both positions. So it's about minimizing your mistakes at the end of the day. Okay, so if you're still profitable as a trader, even though you're still making mistakes, it's good. Okay, you're in the right track. Yes, you can optimize and enhance your profits even more by trying to eliminate more mistakes. But sometimes you click on the wrong button. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times that's happened to me. I want to leave a runner, okay, and I take profits and I close the trade. It happens to me. And I get upset with myself when that happens. Shit, I did it again, and I get angry. Why did I close the position? I wanted to only take 50% profits. Okay. How old were you when you made your first 100K? 35 or 36, I think. No, wait, no, I'm lying. In my early 30s. Okay. But it also depends on how you ask the question. How did I make that 100K? How did I make my first 100K? It was not from trading. Okay, because I've had a couple of businesses before as well. I left a deep question for you above. I left a deep question for you above, okay? The news is a lagging indicator. The volume gaps in between, somewhat predictive. Yes, that's a deep question. I'm not sure if I need to scroll up a little bit. Yeah, I can't see another question from you. Cool. Thank you very much for showing profits. It makes us believe that one day we'll be there, as we'll hopefully. Yeah, guys, you know, it does become easier the larger your account becomes. It does become easier because you can trade less and still pay all of your expenses the end of the month. Okay, I think one of the struggles, and I got this question yesterday in the community as well, one of the struggles that a lot of people have is that you maybe have a $500 account, or you have a $1,000 account, or a $5,000 account, and you look at a portfolio like mine and go, I have to risk everything at 100x leverage to get there. The best advice I can give you, because I was there, okay, is that you should not make money the goal. And this is how I responded yesterday in the community as well. And remember, guys, if you're in the community, you can ask me all these questions, okay? And if I do get to them, I will answer them. The best thing, the best thing that happened to me is that when you shift your mindset of not making money the goal, so you enter a trade and you want to see how much money you're going to make from the trade. If you shift your focus to say that I'm going to spend my every breath and every ounce of energy to find a trading strategy that is profitable, even if you trade with $1, but you are developing a trading strategy that is profitable. When you change your mindset to say that I'm not going to focus on money, I'm going to focus on getting a successful trading strategy. Okay, can you guys see the difference? Money becomes a byproduct of the successful trading strategy. The problem that most people have is that they're making money the goal. Okay. I had to pull out a crypto last year. It wasn't for me. I lost over 100k. I was severely depressed for a while, but I used what I learned in leveraging and started a real estate investment company. Guys, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, okay? If you're struggling with trading, and I know maybe I shouldn't say this here on the live stream because I enjoy everyone being here on the live stream, but if you've taken significant loss and you're still struggling and you're still losing, okay, don't give up. But, you know, look somewhere else to generate more income as well. Okay, if you have to sell something, if you have to start up a new business, you need to generate that passive income for yourself. Okay, until you can nail this, dump incoming. Yeah, it could be a little bit of a correction. So I mean, yeah, looking at the local time frame, let's just take the scribble here out the way. Let's go here back into 5-minute time frame. Okay, let's look at this little structure that is forming over here. So I'm not going to go into the detail count, but this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, impulsive structure, low needs to be protected, and this is now part of the correction. So you take a flip from the low to the high. Okay, I do from a confluence perspective, I love these consolidation areas. They usually provide the best support. So if price chops, okay, that's one thing that I will look for. It needs to chop. It needs to chop, not okay. If price falls too fast over here and it starts dancing around, like Andy likes to say, if it starts dancing around at these levels but it goes too quickly, there's a high chance you're going to take the low. Okay, so it needs to slow down. It needs to create a correction, because if I take a time flip, and this is what I'm basically trying to get to, is if you take a time flip from the low to the high, it's not time to long the retracement. It's not time yet. So if you miss the move and you want to get in at the retracement, it's not time yet. This is what I sometimes sometimes look for, because it can be double 1-2s, which in this case it doesn't look like it is. Okay, so if that's your high and that's your low, well, it's not time to look for a long yet. And that has saved me a couple of times, because price falls down here and people are like, oh, that's the maximum level, I'm entering. You put your stop loss, Okay, and it does that because it was not time to long. So for me, time is very important. The correction needs to chop, and then it's time for me to look for a long. Anywhere, yeah? Anywhere, yeah? Not interested. Not interested in a long. If it wants to fall and stop me out, let it fall. I'll look for a new long at the areas that I've identified earlier in the stream. Okay, guys, you're not going to find this education anywhere else, okay? And if you do, let me know in the comment section after the stream, okay? If there's anyone that provides this education for free on YouTube. Right. It's not time yet. Exactly. It's not time to long yet. And people often mistake it. But when I say it's not time to long yet, they think like, oh, he's waiting for lower. No. It's not time. It needs to happen yeah. Not yeah. It needs to happen yeah. The longer this takes in time, the better and higher the probability to form a higher low. If this happens too quickly, it increases the probabilities of taking the low. Time fib is most probably one of the best things that I've included as part of my trading strategies. I see an impulse, you start a correction, it's not time for me to long. Yes, you could scalp, guys. Yes, by all means, you can scalp it. Oh, look at the SFP here from the 0.382. I get in, stop loss, price moves up, I take profits, I get out. Scalping, yes, you can scalp any level at any time frame. There's no time requirement from a scalping perspective. That's how my brother trades. My brother trades like that. Okay, my brother will be here. I think if my brother was trading right now, you would be looking at this. Going SFP, okay. That's how you would trade. Okay, you hit resistance, tight little stop loss, 7.73 risk to reward. Okay, as soon as you start to hit resistance, you get in, you get out. Maybe you leave a runner. Scalping is a very different trading style, and scalping takes a lot of experience, guys. If you do not have a successful strategy on the higher time frames, 15 minutes and up, don't even try scalping. A lot of people want to scalp because they think it's going to make them more money a lot quicker, because price action plays out a lot quicker. And according to stats, and I know, guys, I always get hate for some reason when I say this, but it's not me, it's the stats. Okay, when prop firms release their stats, prop firms and exchanges and where people basically trade, when those exchanges release their stats clearly states that swing traders are the most profitable long term. Scalpers lose everything. And there's like such a small percentage of scalpers that actually nail it. It's a very, very, very specialized skill. Okay, so if you're scalping the 1 minute and the 30 second and the 15 second successfully, you are literally 1 in a million. You are 1 in a million. Okay, I can apply, guys, I used to scalp, but I don't have to anymore. I did scalp, and yeah, it takes a lot of dedication. Your eyes are tired. You have headaches when you go to bed because you have to be super focused. Price moves very quickly. You have to do your calculations quickly. You have to get in. You have to get out. Look for the next trading. You know, you're placing like 10, 20 trades a day. But yeah, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. I used to do this to grow my portfolios in the beginning, but I don't have to anymore. It would be interesting to see how this structure develops. I mean, guys, this is 30-second stuff, okay? This is 30-second stuff. What am I even doing here on the 30-second time frame? Now, my minimum time frame is the 15-minute. It's my minimum time frame that I will use. My preferred time frame is the 1 hour. It's my favorite time frame, the 1 hour. You have time to plan your trade. You can work out your stuff very relaxed. you don't have a trade every week. Maybe you're lucky if you have a trade every week. If you only trade the 1 hour, okay, you'll maybe get a trade a month. If depending on what strategy you use. Per strategy, okay, if you use the D-line strategy, you'll maybe get a trade a month. And and maybe that's part of the problem, you know, sometimes with new people starting out, is that they just want to trade every single day and they're not waiting for price to come to the area of interest. Scalping will destroy a man faster than any well investment. It's unbelievable. Yeah, baby genius. I mean, the stats don't lie. It's not my opinion, unfortunately. When you go through the stats of the prop firms and the exchanges, scalpers don't survive. People try their best to scalp, and maybe they get lucky for a month, and then the next month they wipe out the entire account. Okay? When you read the stats, I think the stats was like 0 point something % of people that scalp consistently stay profitable. It's such a low percentage. But then when you look at the swing trader percentage, it's massive. So they have a percentage of all the people that are successful. People that's been on the exchange for 6 months, a year, 2 years trading. And because, I mean, these exchanges have access to how you trade. You don't think they have access? Ask again. They can do aggregated data without leaking any information from a POPI or GDPR perspective. Okay, so they can do release stats. They don't have to disclose people's information. And they can say, well, of the successful traders we have that's been consistently profitable over the last 2 years, 99.3% of them are swing traders. That's a scary stat, guys. So, you know, and those are conversations that you need to have with yourself, is to say that, well, if the stats are saying it's more successful to be a swing trader, then maybe that's where I should start. Okay, until I master that strategy, and maybe I can dive into scalping. But I think people, I think, yeah, most people do it the other way around. They want to scalp. I want to get into a trade every day. 3 trades, 5 trades every day. Okay, I only got into 1 trade yesterday. That's it. 1 trade. That's it. And yeah, on the 15-minute, 1 hour time frame, I was able to plan it properly. Too many fees. Yes, you do need an exchange with very low fees if you're a scalper, because sometimes you make profits and then you check your account and you're still in the negative because the trading fees just eats up everything. Valto is maybe a great option, okay, because Valto is the lowest trading fees at the moment from any exchange that I know. It is an exchange where you need to trade with your wallet, so it's completely private, which is great, okay. But from a scalping perspective, that's very attractive because that you can still make money with that. Wave 2 forming 0.7. How long has it been since you paper traded? Guys, I honestly, I didn't paper trade for long. Okay, because I very quickly realized paper trading does not create the same emotion as trading with real money. So for me, the learning curve was, okay, let me still trade with real money, but let me just use less, way less. And when you're trading with $5 or with $1, it's not about making money anymore. It's about learning to win and learning to manage your strategy and your trades. I think that was a very great turning point for me, where is if you don't put $1,000 on the line, then, well, let me rephrase it. As soon as money comes into the equation, emotion becomes involved. And a lot of people make money with demo accounts. And as soon as they try and do the same thing with real money, the wheels fall off the bus. And it's because of the emotional aspect. So my best advice, and maybe this goes against the grain of what most people will tell people out there, is if you're learning to trade and you're still struggling, use real money. Just use way less. Because when you put real money on the line, even if it's $5, okay, you have to contend with your emotions. And it's usually emotions that make people lose money, not the strategy. Okay. We have to get out of the downtrend channel line first. Yes. That is definitely, you want to see market structure change, guys. So there's a high chance that I can get stopped out of this. Okay, there's a chance that I'm going to get stopped out of this trade. Right? I can actually de-risk it a little bit more. I just want to make sure that there's not a critical fib level there. So let me just leave my stop loss there. I just want to check something here. And I'm going to show you now what I'm trying to look for. Okay, so when I take a fib from the low to the high, I know that the 786, which is a deep retracement, can be triggered. So what could happen is price does that. And I don't want to have a stop loss too tight where I get stopped out and price leaves without me. So this is how I'm trying to manage my risk. So I need to figure out, so usually when you tap the 0.88, you increase probabilities that you're going to take the low. Okay. So for me, a good place to put my stop loss is just below these weeks. So that if price still wants to dance around here, okay, I don't get stopped out of, you know, this is just how I think from a risk management perspective. Best place is to leave my stop loss there. But I know that if it's going to tap this zone, and you have your 0.9 and there's flat targets, you increase the probabilities of taking the low. So round about 65,900. Okay, so as long as my stop loss is here at 65,900, I'm fine. Where it is basically now. And this is why I still have a stop loss with a gap. But I have taken profits to cover my stop loss. So I'm covered. So even if my stop loss is at a loss, I will not lose money because I've already taken profits here to the upside. Now you guys can see how I manage my risk. It's just about risk management. So all you can do as a trader is just manage your trade, manage your risk. Okay. But the last thing I want to do is do that. Okay. Which I've just now explained. Price chops, it chops, stops me out, and then it leaves without me. Because I didn't put my stop loss in the right place. So put it back there. And remember guys, if you do want to trade with BTCC, you want to trade with Bluffin, you get the best deals by using the links down in the description. Okay. Bluffin, Valto that I've just spoken about, BTCC, 30% cashback. On Bluffin, by the way, guys, you get VIP status and you get 20% cashback on the money that you deposit. Okay, if you want access to the community, just DM me the word access on Telegram. Not yet. Okay, I have unfortunately run out of time. Hi, Dewald. I'm late. I'll have a look back. Mr. Nico, always appreciate you being here. You have to decentralize yourself to trading real money to have a better chance of surviving. Yes, best thing you can do when you're learning to trade is trade with real money and not thousands of dollars, guys. It can be depending on how much money. I mean, if you have $1 million account, you know, $1,000 could be small change for you. But if you have a $5,000 account, $1,000 is going to be a lot of money for you. So maybe just take 1% of what you have. Just take 1% of what you have and trade with that to learn the strategy. I think that's maybe a great approach. But put real money on the line so that you can learn to manage your emotions. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Remember to smash up that like button on your way out. I will see you all in the next one tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day. Until then, cheers for now.